Welcome to this web tutorial, which will explain the content of the CarbonFix Standard. This web tutorial consists of various chapters, which include Introduction, Terms and Definitions, Procedures, Criteria and Methodology, and Labeling. You can always jump to another chapter by clicking on the menu button at the bottom of the screen and by selecting the chapter where you want to go. You can find the CarbonFix Standard by clicking on the CarbonFix Standard link at the home page. Here, you will find the 4 documents that form the CarbonFix Standard. You can download the different documents through the link on the top of each of the boxes. Let's have a closer look at the contents of these 4 documents. To do this, we just click on the link Summary at the top of the page. Here, we can find a summary of each of the 4 documents. The first is Terms and Definitions. In this document, all the terms and definitions of the CarbonFix Standard are defined. It identifies the different participants that are using the CarbonFix Standard and its web system. It explains the different CO2 certificates, describes who are the stakeholders in a project, and it explains how a project and its different types of areas are defined. Then, it continues with explaining the icons that are used in the CarbonFix Standard, and finally, it clarifies some miscellaneous terms and definitions. In the same order as in this summary, the terms are explained in the PDFs, which can be downloaded on the previous page. The second document of the CarbonFix Standard is the Procedures chapter. In this document, you will find the procedures on how to register a project with the CarbonFix Standard. It first explains the process to become validated. Therefore, a separate web tutorial is available called How to Register a Project. Then it is explained how a certifying body executes a field visit and how the different criteria are controlled. The document also explains when a project will be excluded, how a project must adapt to continuous development of the standard, and what fees and expenses are associated with the project and its sales of CO2 certificates. The third document, Criteria Methodology, is the core document of the CarbonFix Standard. This document describes all the criteria that must be met to successfully generate carbon credits. These different criteria are grouped in 5 clusters: preconditions, sustainable forest management, CO2 fixation, permanence, and transparency of the project. Let's have a closer look at what this all means. In the preconditions, you can read about what areas are eligible for CarbonFix certification. Eligibility means the types of areas which are suitable for CarbonFix certification. Also, it goes into how you have to prove the additionality of the project. Additionality is the principle that your project is not business as usual and therefore is only possible because of the sales of CO2 certificates. In the sustainable forest management criteria, you have to show how the quality of your environmental aspects, social aspects, and the forest management of your project meet the criteria of CarbonFix. In the CO2 fixation section, it is explained how to calculate the VR futures of your project. A VR future is the name of the CO2 credit of a CarbonFix certified project. On how to calculate the VR futures, a separate web tutorial is available called VR Futures Calculation. Additionally, there is a section which explains the permanence of the CarbonFix projects and how projects have to commit themselves to that. It goes into the capacities and secure land tenure. It has criteria on compensation activities that must be put in place in case the amount of predicted CO2 fixation changes over time, and it also explains how the 30% buffer works. The final section of the criteria go into the transparency of the CarbonFix Standard, which includes how to make a description of your project, how many pictures have to be uploaded, what should be the content of the document's project history, how to visit the project and executive summary, and which kinds of maps should be made available. The fourth and final document is labeling. In this document, you can read when project developers can use the tree icon, which is the symbol of CarbonFix. These documents, which include terms and definitions, procedures, criteria, methodology, and labeling, form the CarbonFix Standard.